Well, good morning, my friends, and welcome to GM Tips. This is GM Rick coming at you with my Stanley Excelsior shirt on. Gotta love it. Gotta love it when it fits loose. That means I'm losing weight, which is always a good thing. Um, God, I know I need some new headsets, don't I? These always bend up and get kind of weird looking. So what I wanted to do this morning is do a GM Tips on my favorite places to run in the Inner Sea. And I think you can do a lot of different things, a lot of different campaign material for 5e as well. Faerun is one of my favorite places to run, and I've got favorites out of there too. But I'll run that another time for you guys, and I'll talk Faerun and where my favorite places outside of just the general Sword Coast area for running. So, and don't mind the Minnie Mouse music in the back. Little girl is watching, GM is watching, Tips is watching Minnie-rella. So, or Sleeping Minnie in this case. So this morning I wanted to go over a couple things. And first of all, I wanted to give a shout out to Wolfgang Bauer and his bunch. I am reading on the material for Midgard and for the Southlands to get deeper into those places. But so far, and forgive me with the Oz, we'll stop that so you don't get a million of those. Midgard is a really well constructed place, and if you really are against the Inner Sea and want somewhere else to run, and no offense to Kobold Press and the places they have, because they have some good ones too, or not Kobold, but God, what am I thinking? Frog God. Kobold Press is Wolfgang Bauer's outfit, and they do a tremendously good job with the Midgard campaign, and not just for Pathfinder, but for 5e and 4e. So keep that in mind. It has been adapted to several different places, and the material is there and available on Kobold Press. It's very affordable and reasonable. Most of the books are just about the same as the Pathfinder Golarion ones. They run you about $50 for the main ones, and then for the more refined areas, about $19. You can go cheaper with the PDFs if you want to go that route, and I suggest anybody who is more cash limited go the PDF route and do it that way and just print off the portions you need. So I'm going to do an in-depth dive when I get through these books. I am well into the one with, I'm about 55 pages in and just slowly taking my time to go through Midgard. And so far, from what I've read, 55 pages in, I am uber impressed with everything I'm reading. So just to say that and to give a shout out to Wolfgang, I haven't forgotten you guys, and I will do one on you guys too. I promise I will go through and do a dive of my favorite places that I'm reading about that I like. The Free City of Zobek is already one of them. And but there'll be more. I promise you there will be more. So, but I will do that another time in another cast. This one is strictly 100% on the Inner Sea and Golarion. And I wanted to do that because I think a lot of people are reluctant to play there. Some do, and I appreciate those of you who do and who understand its greatness. Some of you just hate it to the nth degree and really don't want to run with it, and that's fine. I really appreciate what some of the places like Mr. Moreland had to say, who's a key guy, by the way, in the construction of this whole realm and what's published. And he is a Galarophile, as I'll call him, as well as a major driving force at Paizo for the whole realm. And I really appreciate the one thing he said in his video when he was talking about it. And I mentioned that in another video of mine, so go back and watch it. I'll give you a prop of where you can find it. But in his interview, he did a real good job of saying, approach Golarion from this way. What kind of genres and what do you want to play? Where do you want to be? What kind of realm do you want to be in? Golarion has it. It's just you're approaching, most people approach Golarion from the whole world, and you can't do that. You can't. I agree 100%. because it will lose you in a short amount of time. You will be overwhelmed. Because what Paizo did is each creator there picked a realm that was their favorite and dove in and really developed it. Now, not all the ones have been done yet. Believe me, there are many who haven't even been touched. But they're the ones that have been, you can see, because they've been championed by the person who authors the books on that area. And that's their champion at Paizo, to really develop that area, the adventure paths, lobby for that area, and for more material and more adventure paths. That is what has been done by these people, and I appreciate that. So, for instance, one of my favorite realms, and one of the first realms I'm going to talk about, it was championed by Wes Snyder. And Wes does a tremendous job of championing this realm and everything that has to do with it. And so if we look at a map, I know you guys have probably seen some maps of the Inner Sea, but I will do it to you again and show it to you just from the simple fact that I think you have to look at how big the Inner Sea is. And this isn't even the whole world of Golarion. This is Garand in the south and Aveston in the north. Okay, so places, I'm going to talk about places out of each one. Now, that said, I am a huge southern continent guy. I love Garand as a whole. Aveston, I like parts of it, but Garand I love. And I'll just, so understand that when I throw this stuff in here and I go into it, I have a deep-seated love or love affair with the South just because of the richness of what you can do there and what they've done with it. And that's part of the reason I love the South so much. But I'm going to start in the North, even though I love the South. And I'm going to start with a place that many people don't know that much about unless they played this campaign. If you play the Carrying Crown, you're going to know where I'm going to go. If you haven't played the Carrying Crown, then you have no clue under the sun where I'm going to take you. I am taking you to Ustalav and the different countries in Ustalav. Why do I like Ustalav? 5 reasons I like it, and I think it's a great place for a GM to run a campaign. Number one, there's already campaign material with the Carrying Crown. But the Carrying Crown isn't the only one. Strange Aeons is the second that's coming out of that area. Wes has done a good job of turning Ustalav into the Transylvania, Siberia, Croatia of this world. And it literally is. You've got little free Palatinates in the northwest. And these Palatinates in the northwest go by the following names. You have Viland, Canterwall, what? Oh boy, I'm missing it. Lozrai. I'm sorry, guys. I'm killing it and already not reading today. Those are the 3 Palatinates. What are the Palatinates? They are places that broke free from aristocracy rule and became a governing council. So they're sort of a republic. Not really, but they're an East European version of a republic. The rest of it is ruled by a prince. The history of this region is unbelievable, but the adventure paths are what drew me here. And that's number one reason. Carrying Crown is a mix of all your nightmare movies that would scare you, from Frankenstein to the Dracula to Wolfman to Call of Cthulhu to Undead Paradise. There is so much there that's unbelievable in that path. And it's a mishmash of all of it that just embraces horror as a whole. This region is a horror region, no doubt about it. It is the Strahd region of the world in Golarion. And so I love it for that reason. I have always loved a good macabre adventure or a good just gothic horror story place. it's just so much fun to run, and there's so much you can do with it. And they don't even develop it all. They do a tremendous job in really sucking you in with the Inner Sea Guide, but then Wes did the Rule of Fear. Now, again, older material, but this is my Bible of this area. And so I wanted to let you know that. So, Rule of Fear, before my little one had me throw her Shopkin boxes at her, it's a little game we play. Rule of Fear is just a tremendously done book, and it goes through and it gives you so much on the regions themselves. It drills much farther down into what's there. And there's anything from vampires to weird castles that hauntingly appear and disappear, ghosts, a ghoul city that has been taken, a city that was taken over that fell into the ground, the ghouls took over. There is so much material that they don't even develop for you. They just give you the little tidbit teaser that you as a GM can take and then make it whatever you want from that. And that's one thing I really love about what Wes did with this region. He did a tremendous job. Now, there are other people on Wes's team, and I don't want to leave them out. So forgive me, Wes's team, if I just mention Wes on this one. I should go through all of you guys. Alex Aparin was in there for the artwork, which he did a great job. Eric Belial, Tyler Walpole, and Chris Walton, as well as Rob Lazzaretti for the cartography. And so there were so many great people in there. Now, senior art directors and everybody else, they go through a lot of them. But the main ones that drove this, the author was Wes. And he really did a great job. And I've told him that 1,000 times over. He just really did great on that. So number three, outside of the adventure paths and the material on it, is just the politics of that region. And the politics of that region is just a really micmash politics. You have the esoteric order of the Palatini. You have the Palatinate governments. You have the different fiefdoms and their rulers and their politics. You have the prince. You have the Church of Pharasma, and also other churches. Desna's there and some other ones. So there is a lot going on. And you really get to see the gypsy side of the Varicians, because there are the Varicians here. But the Sarzani are also here as well. And so the Sarzani are the criminal element of that region. Great material. If you want something horror and macabre, this region's it. Now, what are my favorite places in this region? Okay, so you got all the Palatinates. What are Rick's favorites? Canterwall, above all else, is my number one favorite place, because Canterwall has the Palatinate freedoms, but all the undead problems, plus the orcs coming across the border from Belkson. So you have just, it's on constant guard and alert, and the people are just a very more reserved people. Even though they want to be friendly, they don't know how to be a lot of times. They are the ones on the battle lines between the orcs and the undead. So they're at constant war. I love Alcazar. Alcazar has the Asphyxian order, and Asphyxian order, and I love them. The quote-unquote Abbot Order of Pharasma, and I'll leave it there. I love that region for that. I do love the almonds. The almonds are great up in the mountains, plus the fact that they have Cavapestia, and Cavapestia is really the bastion of Pharasma's hold in that region. And so it's more like a Budapest. So if you look at a Budapest, Hungary, this is what that is. Cavapestia is Budapest. That's the best way I can put it. And they have all the strong, staunch religion of Pharasma and protecting that region. And a lot of your really stronger individuals in the church come out of that region in that order. And so that's Canterwall, Almonds, Alcazar. All right. So I'm missing two more. Caliphus. I love the city of Caliphus. I love it because you have the balance between vampires and humans going on, plus the two types of vampires, the Moroi as well as the Nosferatu, and the humans, all kind of at odds. Now, a lot of people would say my fifth one would be the Shudderwoods and Lozerai with the werewolves. And though I do love the Prince of the Wolves and the Wolves, my other place is not that. My other place is Varno because of Corvuscaire and some of the other areas and the Bastard Hall. I love that. Someday I want to do an adventure on the Bastard Hall if Paizo doesn't beat me to it in Wes. I have a feeling he's going to beat me to it before I get done with it. But I love those regions. Now, yes, I left out the region where the Whispering Tyrant is and the Gallows Spire and all these others. Yes, I did. But my 5 others just have a more macabre feel and not the whole undead in your face feel. The others have the humans struggling for life and trying to make their existence out, while covert groups are undermining them, while other groups are trying to be the bastion of strength, where the Palatinates are trying to do things. There's a lot to be said. Now, don't get me wrong. Cities like Lepidstadt and some of the others are great places to run. So keep in mind, there is so much you can do in this region, and you get to do a tour of it between the two adventures paths, between the Carrying Crown and the deeper dive with Strange Aeons. You will get to know this whole region because you get to also know Thrushmoor and some of those areas. So it's well worth the investment of the time of this region. So that's my number 1 favorite. What's my number 2? All right. My number 2, by far and away, we're going down to Garand. We're going down to Garand. We're going to have ourselves a time. Yeah, South Park. Sorry, guys. Some of you are going to roll your eyes big time. But we're going down to Catapesh, going to have ourselves a time. One of my friends on Twitter says, yes, I like me Catapesh. I like me Catapesh, too. Catapesh is an amazing place to play. So why Catapesh? Catapesh is one of the largest cities in the southern continent of Garand. It is a city where you can find anything. It is a commerce city. It is the Istanbul of this world. And I love it, love it, love it. You have gnolls. You have Kelishites. You have just regular Garundis. You have polyglots. You have slavers. You have Absalamis. You have Andorans. You have Taldorans. You have God knows who else. Rahadumi. So why Catapesh? Catapesh, for me, embodies the alien with the different cultures. You can find all the cultures here. You can find all the gods here. You can find all the different markets, plus the surrounding areas of Catapesh and the wilds. So really there's about 2 cities in the area of Catapesh. There is Solku to the west and Catapesh to the east, the big city. It is an area of both green lushery to more rough scrubland and pesh cactuses to deserts and rough mountains. It has it all. You have the Gnoll slavers that are trying to enslave all the weaker races. So halflings, kobolds, goblins, gnomes. They see them as the weaker races. Some humans. They are the slave traders of the region, and they're very tough tribes. They worship either Lamashtu or Rovagug. Lamashtu, the mother of beast, or Rovagug, the destroyer. So they're an interesting lot of creatures in this realm. There's a lot of old idols and things that were there that have lost any meaning because it has passed away since the sands have covered some of these regions. As you can see, just from one of the pictures, there's a lot to be said about this region. There are other little cities, don't get me wrong, but Pesh, mining, and some of the other things are what goes on. There are relics here. There are pack masters, and I love the pack masters. Let's see if I can find you a picture of them. They are the most interesting part of this region. They are the rulers of the regions. The pack masters came in, they took over the region, and they turned it into an area of commerce. And the one law of the region is follow the laws of good and practical, fair commercial trade. And that is the one ruling factor of this realm. Murder, not a big deal, as long as it wasn't over a trade deal. So see, you can get away with a lot of things in this city as long as you keep the laws of trade. And that is the one thing. Now, there's black markets and the dark markets. There are the day stalls and the night stalls. So it's an interesting city. There are even old things like a pyramid in the downtown of the city that are in the city with a lot of undiscovered things going on. So the region is not total desert, but it's part desert. So it really encompasses a little bit of the greenery as well as the desert factor. I mean, if you look at it, you have the desert to the north and the desert to the south. That's the kind of the brown areas. And right in the heart of it is the green. Now, you also have an island that's off the coast where there's a lot of slave trade that goes on. So you've got that as well. It is the city of trade. It is the city of commerce. It is the city where you can set anything and go anywhere. The adventure path they did on it was a tremendous adventure path. It was an old one, but it was a lot of fun. And where it took you and some of the places it wrapped you around it, and the tasks it had you do were very interesting and unique. I love the region because you can develop so many adventures out of it that are above and beyond that. That just make this region an interesting place. There's so much hidden and lost things that are in the area that people don't even know about because the sands have covered them. Kind of like with Osirian, the sands cover things. So keep that in mind. So that's all some things that I think will draw you to the region and endear you to it. Catapesh just has diversity, adventure, trade, ships, port of calls, and places you can go. It really is the hub of this area. So just keep that in mind. So campaigns you can run out of here. You can do a Fighting the Slavers campaign. Now you got to be careful there because it is legal in this country, but you can do that type of campaign. You can do a pirate campaign out of here. You could do a Iamade, Sarenrae campaign against the Knolls in the upper region, the Knoll tribes. You can do finding lost treasures and treasure hunting. You can do a merchant campaign where you're trying to establish a merchant trade caravan through the region. You can do trades of goods on the illegal and illicit markets. You can do a thieves guild, trying to establish a thieves guild in this city. Got to be careful on that. You can do just a shipborne water campaign where you're venturing up and down the coast and doing a lot of lost treasure hunting and coming there to sell the treasures. There's so much you can do out of this region. You can do a jinn and Ifrit type of campaign where you're dealing with the forces of the jinns and the Ifrits and some of the other elementals. There's just a lot that can be done out of this region, and all the races accept each other out of this region. So that's a very different thing. You've got all the different places that are represented on the world of Golarion have embassies here in this particular city. So again, it's a well done thing, and the guy that headed this region up, or the shouldn't say the guy, the Paizo folks that headed this up was Stephen Greer and Amber Scott, and they did a tremendous job on this region. Really love the artwork of this book. I give a lot of credit again to Rob Lazzarotti for doing the maps, as well as Vincent Dutrait and Concept Art House, Jason Engel, John Hodgson, Eric Lofgren, Eva Weidermeyer, and Kieran Yanner for doing the art in here. Love the art. Really love the art. As you can see, just some really fun artwork that's done in this book that just never ceases to amaze me, you know, when you look at some of the artwork in here. There we go. And they even gave a prestige class for the balance scale of Abadar. So you can be an Abadarn priest if you choose to be. The Zephyr Guard, love those. Those are the mercenary guards, the best of the best that enforce the laws of the Packmasters. And then maybe even a campaign to find out who are these mysterious Packmasters. They're there, they exist. Once in a while people meet with them, but not very often. Who are they? Where are they from? Are they aliens? Are they not aliens? What are they? See, there's just so much there that is so rich and so full that this region leaves you wanting more. So that's my second region. Now, shift to the right. Go west. What do you have? The heart of the jungle. Now we're making my way over two of my very favorite regions of the Guarandi South. Love the Mwangi Expanse. So many adventures coming out of there, and with Sergava, and I include Sergava in this region because Sergava is right there. You've got the Mwangi Expanse, Sergava, as well as the Isles of the Shackles and the Sodden Lands. So all that really comes into play here, but the jungle is great because look at this. It is the hearts of the jungle region. Now, it's not all the jungle on Garand in the south. There's much more south of this region that they haven't even touched yet. But this is beginnings of the jungle regions and the lost knowledge. I like the polyglots. I like the Bekyar, the Banawats. The Banawats are the more... stop the ums, Rick. The Banawats are the tribes that deal on the highlands, the Turwa Highlands. So over in that region is more fishing villages, grasslands, some of the other areas. They're the sailor types. Plus, you also have the strange city with the Kaldaru in it. And that city is an interesting city if you haven't been there. So keep in mind that you want to try to get over to Sanghor. Sanghor has more the olive skin, swarthy types that are out of it. You have the mysterious Bekyar slavers that are a lot like the Knolls. You have the Moxie, which are the more civilized and love to adopt different cultures. Then you have the Zenge, who are the smaller, more pygmy tribes. So a lot of things going on with that region. A lot of lost cities, fallen cities, some of the Shori Empire air cities supposedly in this region. You've got the great mage Jatembe. Love Jatembe and his guys. Magic is really a key part of this, as well as idol worshipping and the devil apes. So much that you can do in this region. Sorry, demon apes. But I love this region for that. And the fact that you have to deal as a GM with disease. So the tsetse flies as well as the mosquitoes, how do you deal with that? How do you keep your players healthy? All the different types of diseases that come from a jungle that you don't face other places. The different flora and fauna and poisons. You got the Akuje and Alije elves. You have the cannibalistic gnomes, which are the Spriggans down here. You have the cannibalistic halflings that are in this region. And everybody is darker skinned. So you're going from cinnamon to very dark skins in this area. I like that. And I love that Paizo has a lot of racial diversity. It just allows a player to play whatever they want to play or whatever they feel comfortable with. And there's no lack of that culture. And the fact that they don't always just make the natives out to be stupid natives. There are grand civilizations that were here that can be explored and really dealt with. They have the Serpent's Skull, which is the adventure path of the region. They've got the Ire of the Storm, which deals with Sargava. They have so much more. They have the River of Darkness, which I'm running right now as a one-shot with some of my players. Tremendously fun region. And there's so much you can do. You have the Aspis Consortium from the Chelish that is vying to try to increase trade in that region and dominate that region. You have the Taldoran Crusades, the Shining Crusades that came through there. So you have the remnants of that are in that region. You have the Sergavans, who were the down in Eliter in that area of Sergava, who hate the Chelish Empire and the Infernal Thrones, but the Archels themselves. They are the former people of Erodin. So again, you've got some really neat cultures here. Plus, you've got dwarves, elves, halflings, gnomes. A lot of times those guys get cut out of the southern regions. In this area, they embrace them and make them a huge part of this region. In fact, the elves here did not flee during the time of Starfall. Huge things. So what all they developed? Where are they gone? Where is their culture now? So there's so much you can do. And I don't even need to go into it. You can read this and find at least 35 or 40 campaign ideas right out of this right here. Now, who does this region? Giving credit as credit due. Tim Hitchcock, Jason Nelson, Amber Scott, Chris Self, and Todd Stewart all are the authors in this region and do a great job of writing this region and keeping and continuing to write for this region. Vinod Rams does the cover art for this. Love the cover art, by the way. And then you've got on the inside interior Alejandro Aguirre, Marco Luna, Jorge Masse, and Diana Martinez. So, my Latin Forfecta doing the artwork on the inside, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the artwork, it is just brilliant artwork. I'm going to show you a couple shots out here that I just love to death. Some really fun and interesting artwork they do with the different characters as well as the iconics. You can just see the fun they're having with the iconics in here. Oops. So it is great region to play in. And please, if you haven't played it, play it, play it, play it. Because there's so much you can go and do. You have the pirates that are in that region. You have the Taldorans, the Chelish, the natives, the other traders that have come into that region from Osirian and from Catapesh and from the Kadiran empires. Think about it, guys. It's a great region. Now I'm going over to my other one that I really love in this region. One of my most favorite areas. And thank you, Mike Shell, for bringing this region to life. One of my first adventure paths to play in Pathfinder. Okay, I'd bought a lot of different ones. What was my first one to play? Skull and Shackles, a pirate campaign. If you love pirate adventures, if you love waterborne corsairs and pirates and just smugglers, all the like, you are home here. What's fun about this region? Again, every culture is represented in these islands. Every culture. Port Peril, which is way up over here, you'll see, there it is, right there, is really the seat of all the pirate captains. You have the Free Pirate Captain Council. If you are not a part of that council, your ship, your very ship in piracy is in danger because you are illegitimate to that region. You have to seek a seat as a free captain. Now, you don't have to be on the council, but just seek a seat as a free captain. You have to earn that. So you're not just born into it all the time. You have to earn it. You have islands like the Taldus Island, which is the Taldoran. It has little Opara on it. Ragmata's Reach, which is the Dragons area. The Magangi Cove and Nagozu, which are the freed polyglot slaves that are in that region. You have Senchu Bay, which is Chosu. So some of the Tian Sha people that are in that region, as well as the Ushinawa Islands, Tianmins. Besmara's throne. So you have an island just devoted to the worship of Besmara. You have Shark Island and Olo, which are the wares that are in that region. Yes, were pirates. You have Raptor Island and the Cannibal Islands. So you have cannibals out there. You have Nalt's Island, which has hidden treasure and lost treasure. Rampori Islands, ruled by a Rakshasa. And then you have Dahak's Fangs and Tooth with Dahak the Dragon. And then you have, as you go up to Tempest Cay and Drenchport, the mysterious druid that really he's the king of Gales that rules that region with an iron fist, and also watches over the free captain's regatta to earn a free captain's seat. A lot of fun, guys. This region, what more can I say other than pirates? There is so much you can do, and I do. They have so many great adventures. I'm going to show you one of the adventures I'm reading now that I really like, that you can add on to Skull and Shackle or do as a standalone. Piracy. They have ships of the Inner Sea that they came out for just that reason right there. So you have ships that you can raid and go after as a pirate. There's so much that as a pirate you can do to get infamy. And instead of fame, like you have with the regular heroes, you have infamy and plunder. It's just greatness. The way they've modeled it, I love the whole region. And I will run pirate campaigns to probably I quit playing Pathfinder. I look forward to importing more into. In fact, I got Freeport to merge Freeport into this region. Love the whole concept of a pirate-run region. They fight the Chelish Empire and they battle the evil Shells as well as the Hell Knights. Fun clashes. It's like the British against the pirates or the Spanish against the pirates. Love it, love it, love it. So keep that in mind. It's just a great region. There's a lot of undiscovered islands, so your characters can take up residence on an island real easy. You can send them into places to find treasure in those islands. It's overall just a great region to be in. And not every world puts a lot of, I mean, yes, they put in a pirate area, but yeah, it's just kind of there. They don't talk about it a lot. They give a little bit of background on it so you can run with it. This is fleshed out. I love that you can tell who the Free Captain's Council is. You will know who the Free Captain's Council is and whether they're good or bad and who you can curry favor with. Callistra and Besmara are two of the most worshipped goddesses on these islands. Yes, there are others. Caden, Kayleen, and Desna also are welcome out there, as well as Norgorber. But this area is primarily Besmara and Callistra, and you gotta love it. It's just a lot of fun to do, and there are undead pirates, there are regular pirates, there's a lich who's a pirate. Go figure, what more you want? You got dragons who try to rule the region. Just a lot of challenges and fun, and it makes it a lot of fun when your characters are constantly going places in ships. So my opinion on that. What are my last two? Finally, somebody did a republic. The Republic of Andoran, Birth of Freedom. They were a former Taldoran and Chelish colony. Now they've earned their freedom. And they earned that freedom, and again, as you can see, they're different knights that are there. These guys, under Sedwin of the First of Augustana, won their freedom. They won their freedom from things in 1683. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, not 1683. The first one, there we go. 4669 AR is where that happens. And to this day, they're still working out the details. But Almas is the seat of freedom. And there's still those who want to be the old noble way of doing things and part of the old empire, as well as those who want the freedom. And so there's a constant battle going on between the two. There are parts of this area that are very free. There are parts that still live under the lumber consortiums and under the fist of things. It is an egalitarian type of society, so it's a lot of fun to run in that area. But it's under constant threat. You can be a corsair. You can be an eagle knight. You can be a lot of different things. You could be trying to bring freedom to other lands. This is the neat part of that region, is you are the birthplace of freedom and of almost democracy in a sense. And this allows you to be that and to live that. So I like it for that reason. You're anti-pirate. You're anti-slavery. You are constantly fighting the forces that are trying to enslave people. But at the same time, trying to keep balance in your own country. Lots of regions to go into, including the Dark Moon Vale. Lots of great places. So you got kobolds that you'll be fighting, mines, the Underdark. This area is just a rich area for adventure and very ripe for you guys to play in. Trying to help the lumber consortiums, trying to fight the lumber consortiums. So what do you do here? And there's just a lot that can be done. And as you can see, love the different pictures of the people for freedom. It screams in some ways the United States, but, and I'm going to say, the United States as it should have been. There is no slavery here. The lumber consortiums try, but there is no slavery. I love the idealism of this region. I really and truly do. For me, it is just a neat thing in the fantasy realm because you don't get that very often. You get hints of it in some of the other ones like Faerun, but you don't get it. Most of them are under a monarchy. This is not a monarchy. It is a democratic council. Tremendous job, Paizo. And the author on this one who did this, and by the way, it's a recent book that was out probably not even a year ago. The author of this region are Tim Hitchcock and Jason Nelson. Igor Grishinal did the cover art, which I love. It's just unbelievable. And then, of course, your inner artists are Eric Belial, Ekaterina Burmack, Milvoj Sharan, Wayne England, Shen Fei, Miguel Regodon Harkness, Audrey Hott, Will O'Brien, Yama Orse, Roberto Pitoru, Kim Sokol, and Matthias Talpa. Great job, guys. And some of the artwork in there, I'll just give you little snippets of it. And it's not the region necessarily to play it, but just because of the art and the richness of this book was well done. And they give you the factions and groups, who's doing what, who's trying to do what plots. So there's so much you can write up again from this region. And I think a lot of it is that some GMs love the idea that they don't have the material and can write it from nothing. For me, I love having the material here in the Inner Sea World Guide, as well as in the books themselves, because it gives me a lot of thought on how I want to take that and then convert that to further develop that region. But keep in mind, especially if you want to run some of those covert things, trying to win freedom, freedom fighters, these guys are it. They really are, but they have their own issues. They still have the aristocracy and that mindset that they're battling on a constant basis. So the commoners versus the aristocrats. Even though it's an egalitarian society, there's still that battle going on. It's a young, fomented place where it's all still coming together. And so it allows you a lot that you can do. And finally, and no one would have thought this, you guys are going, okay, so Rick's going to go to Osirian. Rick's going to go, which I do love Osirian, don't get me wrong. Rick's going to go to Absalom. Rick's going to go to Chelyx. Rick's going to go to Varisha. Everybody loves Varisha. No, Rick's going to go to Belkson. It's got to be the orcs. It's got to be the orcs. He's going. Where else could Rick be going? The River Kingdoms. The River Kingdoms. Rick's going to talk about the River Kingdoms. Bravoy, the Sword Lords, the Aldori Sword Lords. See how much I know about this silly world? I know a lot. No. The World Wound? Last Wall. Numeria, land of the fallen stars and technology. I never thought I would embrace this. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I give some real major honorable mentions for the Mana Wastes and for the gunpowder down there. I give a lot of props to Variscia. I give a lot of props to the lands of the Lenorm Kings. Yes, yes. I love the land of eternal winter and Elysium and running Reign of Winter. There's so much I love. I love Iobaria and the fact that it was a former Golgon settlement with the Cyclopses. But that's not where I'm going. I'm going here. I can't wait to run the Iron Gods. I can't wait to run the Technic League. I can't wait to run a battle between people who covet technology, the aliens who are trying to survive on a world they were crashed into, and androids, along with Hallett Kelid type barbarians. Yes, I love that realm, and for lots of reasons. Number one, you can get dun 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 to a lot of different places, and there's a lot of different realms. There are furnaces hot enough to work sky metal. Ooh, what do you think sky metal is? Adamantine. So now you can forge adamantine weapons and armor and have the right temperatures to do it in without having to be on a volcano. You've got fallen pieces of debris. You've got hidden hazards from the radiation and other type of environmental things. You have people who are addicted to the technology. You have people barely surviving. You have scavengers. You have people who are part synthetic, part not. You have people who have maybe nanite implants in them. It's a whole nother world, folks, on itself. It's Conan the Barbarian meets some sort of Star Crash movie. It's unbelievable, and it's just a lot of fun. And I never thought I'd embrace that area. I didn't. At first I was one, and people up at the Paizo website, Liv could tell you, I was one of the huge detractors of it all, griping and moaning about that area. I am so sorry, and yes, I eat crow. Paizo, I eat total crow. And I will say, the persons that made me eat crow were Jim Groves, James Jacobs, and Russ Taylor. Yes, guys, you made me eat crow. I was wrong. You were right. I love the area. I'm sorry. So, just that said. Artist J.P. Targete, great job on the artwork on this cover. And to all the artists, give prop to is Helge Belzar, James Krause, Chao Maceo Montiero, John Niemeister, Christopher Anciu, Ryan Portillo, Patrick Reineman, Tatiana Vetrova, and Carlos Villa. Thank you so much, guys, for what you did here. This is truly a beautiful book with beautiful artwork, with lots of robots and other things that go on, with some of the best artwork I've seen in a long time. And there are great artists across Paizo as a whole. But let me tell you, this stuff is just unbelievable when it comes to just looking at the different art that goes on, the cities. You guys have done and outdone yourself on these materials. And for those of you that haven't come on board yet, this area will let you run a micmash between fighting technology to embracing technology to making it to Starfinder. This is going to be the birthplace of this. It is a battlegrounds between the stars, civilization on the world of Golarion, and the Dark Veil. And all of that comes into this mad little realm called Numeria. And all of it plays into that fact and effect. And just keep that in mind. There are other places on this world that are tremendously fun. Don't get me wrong. Kadira, Osirian, Varisia, the Chelish Empires, Taldor. There are so many other realms. Erisian, the lands of the Lenorm kings. So keep in mind, there are other places I really love. But this area just has a special place in my heart. And I hope I've given you guys a little bit to deal with on the whys. If you want to know more on the hows and what to run, let me know, okay? I just really appreciate being able to give you my top 6 regions and why and what they bring to the table for you as a GM and for your players. So just keep this in mind. And all these I would recommend in a heartbeat to buy them. Whether PDF or otherwise, buy them. They're well worth the investment. Thanks, and have a great weekend.